Welcome to NHL Fans 365, a hockey podcast where we talk about many different topics from around the league. And here's your host, Boomstick.
So, as you can see, with the sound of that boom, you can tell that it's fireworks season, and we are going to have a 4th of July tomorrow in the United States. So, happy 4th of July for all of you out there. You know, I'm talking to my 3 admins on board tonight. No? Happy 4th of July.
Yes,
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th.
Hey, so I was like, wait a minute, where the fuck are you guys? But yeah, so I was just like, you know what, fuck it, let's just celebrate 4th of July. So anyway, so what's going on, guys? Your host Boomstick of NHL Fans 365, and you can tell that it's 4th of July. Yep, and it's 4th of July tomorrow, and today's July 3rd, and outside we got our neighbors all across the United States, you know, from where Hurdle the Turtle is, and RinneSetGo is, and of course, upstairs is WouldYouLikeSomeSpez, all 3 of them all at once, just celebrating, getting the fireworks going. So, to start off, why don't we...
Downstairs for once.
Yeah, right?
Not upstairs.
So you're upstairs, you're downstairs, and where are you, Rob? Rob? Rob?
Yoo-hoo! Rob, are you having too much fun with fireworks?
I believe so, but until he comes back, no worries. But anyway, so let's introduce our admins tonight. So we have hashtag WouldYouLikeSomeSpez, and she's the head admin of the Dallas Stars. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are y'all doing?
I am doing fantastic. You know, like I said, it's 4th of July, and
I know. I cannot wait to launch fireworks tomorrow.
yeah, that's always fun. And there's sonic booms all around our house. You know, there's some in front of my house, there's some behind me, and the dog is freaking out, and my snake is not really influenced by it. My sister's puppy is here from South Carolina, so he's freaking out. And,
Yep, I'm upstairs.
yeah, so that's that. And, once again, Rob has just lost internet, but we'll get right back to him eventually. But anyway, so we have our Nashville Predators admin, hashtag RinneSetGo. How you doing over there?
I am doing quite well. How are y'all doing?
I am doing wonderful. As I just said, there is fireworks outside. And let's hope he has... Yeah, and I'm pretty convinced, I don't know if he's here or not, because his internet's been really, really shitty and been acting up. So we're going to try everything we can to get him back on track. But it's our San Jose Sharks admin, hashtag Hurdle the Turtle. Hopefully he answers this. So, yeah, so how you doing, man? If you're there. Guess he's not. So the internet's driving him nuts, and hopefully he gets back on track pretty soon. So we're going to just talk hockey tonight, and I suppose, you know, we're going to talk trade rumors, we're going to talk, you know, free agents and signings, we're going to talk all kinds of speculation that could going into the following week. So let's get right into it. So how do you guys feel about your team's, you know, actions in free agency, starting with you guys?
These past few days, ever since Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't know, whenever it happened, the PK Subban and Shea Weber trade, that affected the Predators a lot because we lost our former captain now, but we got one heck of a defenseman. It's been an emotional roller coaster, I think.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, you know, you have your captain being traded away for a guy who has a shorter contract, and on top of that is younger. So that's that. And I think you should be excited about the fact that he's coming to Nashville.
I mean, at first, I'll basically go through my emotions. I was shocked. I was upset. I was wondering, well, why? Why did the Predators trade, you know, first homegrown captain, you know, why did they do that? And I sat and I had to wait to say anything, you know, on social media or anything because I didn't want my emotions getting away. But I thought, and I
were
realize
thinking?
that's scary thing. Yeah, I do think sometimes. I don't go off of 5-second plans every once in a while. Um, but I realize that Subin's younger. You know, he's at his prime, or he's getting to his prime, younger, and he's more charismatic. You know, he's not afraid to be himself, which is a phenomenal. So
Oh yeah, and I think the city of Nashville is going to really appreciate him for what he's done in Montreal for the last 6-7 years he's been there. But then again, you got to think outside the box. You know, how big of a contributor will he be down the line? And he might have just created the best defensive team in the National Hockey League. I mean, think about it.
I'm thinking Subin, and I'm just taking a shot in the dark here. Roman Yossi, for those of y'all that don't know what I'm talking about, or who I'm talking about, excuse me. That's a killer combo right there. You know.
I mean, Subban, Yossi, help me out here, Ellis, and Ekholm.
Home.
Yeah, I mean, you got a pretty good core four right there in Nashville. I mean, kudos to you on that one. That's good.
I stated earlier, and not just on not just in the chat group, but in different areas on social media, I said Pohl's a lunatic, but he's a genius. He's a lunatic because what he does is out there. I mean, I don't know of any team who would be willing to say, yeah, let's go trade our captain, or yeah, let's go, for a younger defenseman. But he did, and I think it'll work out in the end.
I mean, I wouldn't see no reason why the Predators would not succeed in the National Hockey League with this ratio. You know what I mean? So it's only coming to a matter of time, or a matter, in our possession. As
now, I have a question for you, Shannon, or Renee, whatever the heck you want to call yourself.
Who are the nominees for captain? Like, who are they speculating? I mean, I know you're in the heart of Smashville or whatever the heck you guys call it, but who are their candidates, or who's the speculation around?
Ooh. I mean, I don't know. The other day, I think the most notable candidates are Mike Fisher, James Neal, Josie, and they tossed around Rita, even though that's impossible, but whatever, it's Nashville. We'll do something out there and different.
Yeah, I would not make Rene the captain, because Vancouver did that like nearly 8-10 years ago with Luongo, and that didn't really work out too well.
Yeah, that's not gonna work well. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a giant cluster with that move. I mean, can you really blame them for that part?
No.
Definitely not. And what about you, as far as free agency goes for the Dallas Stars?
Silas more often.
First, let me die of the plague, and then I'll come back to life. We've made some interesting moves. We've been, a former player, Jason Demers, Chris Russell, they have signed with different teams. I can't recall them all off the top of my head. But...
Well, we're going to get to them in a few minutes, but just to give you FYI, for those of you who are watching us live, Chris Russell is still available, and he is definitely not going back to the Dallas Stars under any circumstance. There's no room for him. Definitely not.
Nope. One move that surprised me was them signing Jordy Ben back, because I've heard on social media from other Stars fans, they absolutely despise Jordy with a burning passion. It's ridiculous, and he's not that bad of a player. I mean, there's room for growth, I can tell you that. But yeah, no, I was just shocked. I'm like, well, at least they kept the Ben brothers together. We were in the when Stamkos was still somewhat available. I'm not sure how true it was, but we were in the sweepstakes a little. But we're more focused on the Bishop sweepstakes right now.
Yeah, and did you see the tweet that was going on today about the Dallas Stars with Ben Bishop? Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Oh my god. I have to show you this. I found this on Instagram. You're going to be like, holy shit, here we go. God bless me. Name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost. I have to show you this. This is... Yeah, and...
Oh god.
Yeah, and... Yep, and here we go. These are just a bunch of tweets. Let me just screenshot that. So this way I can read these. I don't want to kill my battery. But I have all the info for tonight's show on here. So, This is from Marion Camp 16 on Twitter. Yeah, this was on Twitter, and it says that's not Big Ben. And this was, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the Dallas Stars re-sign a goalie or pick up a goalie in free agency?
We got one in the draft, but not that I'm aware of. I'm actually going on to the Twitterverse now as we speak, and I'm going to look it up. Pat Summit's completely irrelevant, guys. Jeez. Okay, what am I? There we go.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of people bitching and moaning on Twitter, and they're like, "That's not Ben Bishop. Cool, now get Ben Bishop. Trade for Bishop. They ain't a 6'7" goalie named Ben Bishop. Announce Bishop. So where's Bishop? Look at this. I'll show you. I don't know if you guys can see this or not.
I can't.
Well, I'll send it. Wait, you saw that, Shannon?
Nah, no. I'm distracted by something else right now.
Oh my god.
What?
This is ridiculous. I looked up some tweets, and this is a good one. Put me out of my misery. Mercy, kill me. Trade Ben Bishop to the Dallas Stars.
Oh, God.
No, it gets better. Dear Dallas Stars, please trade for Bishop and sign Louis Eriksson. Okay. Alrighty. Oh. If the at Dallas Stars trade for Bishop, when I'm 18, the first thing I'll do is Jim Neal is my god tattooed across my chest.
Oh. Wait.
That's comedy gold. Oh yeah, we actually did, did we? Oh no, we got a defenseman, okay.
Well, I'm sure it's Dan Hamuse.
No, it was it was during the draft. That explains a lot why I don't remember it.
Yeah.
It was we got defenseman Nick Ebert for Jack Campbell. So no, we're actually trading away goalies. Okay. Oh, and in response to that, somebody said, you're supposed to trade for a goalie. Man, these are salty. Golly, people.
Wow, you got the... Holy fuck. Nothing. I'm just replying to the comments. It's like, wow, man, wow. About the whole... Oh, God. Did you see I sent it in the group chat about the Dallas Stars tweets. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm looking now.
On Insta? Oh yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, right? That's
Oh my god.
This is embarrassing. Are they this desperate for Ben Bishop?
Apparently, we have no faith in the goalies we do have now, but I do. Weird enough.
Yeah, just for all the viewers out there. Holy shit. I'm so surprised that a fan base wants Ben Bishop this bad.
They better do it or else Dallas and my sister's gonna riot, and I don't want to deal with my sister rioting. So Dallas, for my sake, please do something with Ben Bishop. Sign a Predators fan living with a Stars fan.
Yeah, good enough.
Oh my gosh. This is hysterical. Oh my gosh.
Fuck.
Well, I heard a possible trade a couple days ago was involving Kari Lehtonen, my favorite player, Valerie Nichushkin, and
Ooh.
Patrick Nemeth, and I forgot the other guy's name.
Yeah, that was all. That was all. Yeah, that's all they had.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think they're adding a first-round draft pick in there. I think.
Oh yeah. That was it. And I was, as much as I want Bishop, don't trade away my favorite player. Please don't.
He's expandable, so obviously they can do it.
Yeah, and I'm like, do not trade my favorite. I'm literally, when I was posting it, I was like yelling, "You better not trade him! I don't care. Trade the rest of the guys, but do not trade Nichushkin. There are other guys. And
I can attest to this happening. Yes, it did.
Fuck.
that's a little nasty.
I bet so. Oh man. So let's get right into it. Let's jump into the free agency market. We're going to talk about some of the big moves. I'm not going to get into every single detail that's happened, but we're going to talk about the bigger free agents that, obviously the big fish in every free agency market. And we're going to talk about the winners and losers, and we're talk about some trade rumors. How does that sound, guys?
Cool.
Yeah, so this should be a fun little episode, even though with the fucking fireworks that's at my house. They're just going boom, 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 30 feet from my room. It's just like, oh my god.
Oh man.
4th of July.
It's not nearly as bad here. They've been launching fireworks here since last week.
Oh my god. That's crazy. But anyway, let's get right into it. So the first one on this list is David Backes to the Boston Bruins for, I think, so if he's making $30,000, yeah, hold on, fucking chat. How much did Backes make? I know it's a 5-year deal, but I already forget. Isn't it like 25 million to 30 mil with the Boston Bruins?
Something like that.
Wait,
It's a
no, it's 5 years, 30 million with the Boston Bruins, and he signed on Friday. So how do you feel about that?
wow. I think Boston kind of next to the Predators. I have a couple of different teams. Boston's one of them. That'll help them out with their offensive issues. Or Backus is what position? I think he's an offense. Either way,
Backes is a center.
I totally guessed. But I think that'll help with their offensive issues. Winning the faceoffs and that. So I think that's very good move by Boston. Not necessarily sneaky hot, but a good move.
I agree with that. I think Boston got a little better. I don't know if it's a rebuilding move or a retooling move, because regardless, the Boston Bruins are just going down a huge decline, and there's been so much speculation lately about the Boston Bruins. We're going to talk about it on the show, and I figure, just get right into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you go ahead.
Alrighty, so I don't think it's a rebuilding move. I think it's a redesigning move. They're not necessarily rebuilding the whole team. They're redesigning because they have good components. But the issue is that for some unknown reason, for the past few years, they've been in decline. So it's just a redesigning. They're just redesigning a team. Wow, I feel weird talking about my second favorite team. Urgh.
Yeah, I hear you. Did you hear about the signing prior, or did you hear it after it happened?
I had no clue about it till 2
5
minutes ago.
seconds ago?
Yep.
So you knew about this?
No.
No,
You-
I didn't. I kind of knew, but I forgot which team, the details, and that.
Yeah, so I helped you clarify that. It's 5 years, 30 million to the Boston Bruins for David Backes. Let's see. Next one is Bo Bennett. He was signed with New Jersey for 1 year for $725,000. That's not bad for a guy to get a fair chance with.
Wow.
I mean, is that?
He deserves
Wow.
a little bit better. Like, I think he should have stayed in Pittsburgh. That's just me. I mean, I haven't really watched well, I guess I did watch the Penguins a little bit in the Stanley Cup Finals. But it's almost who does he remind me of? It's not I don't know, but there's somebody maybe it wasn't MLB. I'm not entirely sure, but because Bennett had a down year. I know he was kind of up and down, and he was injured quite a
Yeah.
bit.
He's injured quite often.
Yeah.
It's like every other day. Bo Bennett did this. Bo Bennett did that. Okay, do we need to roll him in bubble wrap? I don't know. Signing with a different team, I think, will allow him the opportunity to begin again.
Yeah, I hear you. But keep in mind, he was traded on draft night. Well, I mean, not draft night, but
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
now you
How
remember.
are you doing?
Yep, so that's that. And the fireworks are going up again. So, The next big signing, this one is pretty intriguing. It's Mikhail Bakker to the San Jose Sharks at 26 years old for 4 years, $16 million.
It is an amazing move.
That's a sneaky hot move right there because
He's
no one
been
would
on the
expect.
rebound, yeah.
It's a sneaky hot move. No one was expecting it. Very good move by the Sharks.
I mean, I know the
He
past.
was with- Oh God, he was with Arizona, and then Colorado, and now with San Jose. Hey, San Jose just got a little bit better just to push them over the edge. Maybe they can, maybe Robin, if Rob was here, he'd argue with me for a little bit. I think this is what's going to put them over the top and make them a true contender, not that underdog from the underground.
I hear you, but I think 16 million is a pretty good contract for his, but it's a little bit an overpay. But then again, San Jose, I think, did the right thing here. They legitimately got another winger, so this indicates Matt Nieto is pretty much out of San Jose at this rate. And the Sharks are definitely keeping their core together. They're going to keep Marlowe, they're going to keep Thornton, they're going to keep Pavelski, they're going to keep Couture, they're going to keep Vlasic, they're going to keep everybody from last year's team, and just adding Bakker will help them down the stretch.
Yeah,
I'm
That's true.
it's just I never thought, like, again, I was writing something today and I said that this off season has been anything but, calm or predictable, because it has been. I would have never, well, then again, I don't really know who's a free agent or not.
But that's why that's why there's always a free agent list every year. And in 3 years from now, it's 2016, but by, I think, 2019, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure Tina can give me the answer to this, is Tyler Seguin is a UFA in 2019.
He might be.
Same with Jamie Benn.
Oh man. I don't think they're. You know what? I think they're gonna extend them.
by that time.
If they don't, those stupid idiots.
Stupid, yeah. Or like they're gonna be one of the first people they sign. I don't see. No offense, you can kill me later for this one. I don't see them pulling a Nashville for a while here.
You did not just do that.
Yeah, I did.
Jerk.
I'm not surprised. I would love to see you two kick each other's ass later, especially on Twin Hockey Talk. It's an exclusive video of each other kicking each other's ass. That would just be fun.
We actually, for those of you guys who actually watch both the podcast and our show, we plan on doing a little bit of a live video tomorrow in honor of Independence Day.
That should be
Sometime
fun.
during the day. It'll be like 5-10 minutes. Just because we're not releasing an episode this week, but we will be doing it next week because we're still filming it.
Oh,
We're
joy.
still filming and new segments are coming. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait to see that. Next big name free agent on the list, and I'm pretty surprised that you two could mention this. 4 years, $18 million deal for Troy Brouwer to the Calgary Flames.
Whew.
Wow.
It's it's a heck of a deal, honestly. I think they overpaid him a little bit, but you know what? If they want to pay him that type of money, obviously the Flames see something in him that nobody else does.
I mean, they definitely have potential, but look at it the way they did in the offseason. I don't mean to cut you off, but look at what they did with Brian Elliott. Look what they're doing with Chad Johnson, and I'll get to him in a little bit. Look what they did to get Troy Brouwer. The Calgary Flames are just retooling, and they went into the season without a goalie. So they finally got what they needed at the draft. They addressed that need, and then of course they added some fuel to the fire by adding Troy Brouwer. And this signing also indicates that he has a retirement home in Calgary.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, so what were you going to say before, Shannon? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I lost my train of thought. It's all good.
You sure? Yeah.
Yes, I know what I was going to say now.
Holy cow, you remember.
I know, shocker. But damn it, lost it again. Nope, I got it back. Uh,
Hi, my name
I
is Jory, and I suffer from short-term memory loss.
it's you. No, I got it back now. Sorry. Shush. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't. Again, that's a very good move by them. I mean, I think a lot of people they may have had mixed feelings about it, but I think it'll work out for them in the end.
Hopefully. I mean, to have him play with Monahan and Bennett in Calgary, that just provides leadership for them. I mean, it all comes down to the wire, what he really does going in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely. The next one is Brian Campbell signing a one-year deal for $2.25 million with the Chicago Blackhawks, and he actually won a Stanley Cup in 2010 with the Chicago Blackhawks, and he spent 5 years with the Florida Panthers. So it's a pretty good remark for him. But he apparently, I heard there was a lot of disgruntling with him in the end of the season with Florida, so he pretty much wanted out, and he refused to resign a contract with Florida to end his career. And apparently he wants to go back for one more season to the Chicago Blackhawks.
Hey, they started from it. It's pretty much, it's like, you want to go back home eventually. I don't know if he was in Chicago before he went to Florida, obviously. Was he homegrown in Chicago?
No, he was originally drafted by Buffalo.
Oh, well. I have no explanation for that one then. I guess he just wants to go back to Chicago and not Buffalo.
That's
Sorry.
Yeah, he's not.
That's where he's seen former success, and why not?
And I mean, the guy is 37, and he's pretty much ready to retire after next season.
Wow.
Yeah, but if he wants to try to win another cup one more time before he retires, no issues at all. But in the end of the day, at least he gets to go down when he retires as a Stanley Cup champion. I'll give him that. And he was traded to Florida the year after they won their first cup out of those three against the Flyers. So that was a long time ago. So that was that. The next signing is Jason Chimera, a 2-year, $4.5 million deal. And I love this signing, by the way, because I'm an Islander fan. Has signed from Washington to the New York Islanders at 37 years old. So this is pretty much the indication that he's going to be the replacement for Matt Martin in Long Island.
I mean, 37 years old, that's a short-term replacement. Hate to say it, but I mean, good move for the present, but you got to start thinking about the future. The future, I don't know if they know what the future holds for them, but yeah.
That's fair. I'll give you that. That is definitely fair. But I do love this signing because we're going to talk about Martin. He's on this list later, so we're going to go from there. So that's that. I'll talk about him in a little bit. Here we go. Brett Connolly to Boston, from Boston to Washington for 1 year for $850,000. Former first-round draft pick, and he is not working out well in the NHL.
Maybe this trade will just be a fresh start for him. That way he can prove, yes, I did deserve to be drafted in the first round. Yes, I am as good as they say. I am, I deserve to be here. So I think this upcoming season will be a proving ground for him. Make it,
breaking ground.
As I drop the phone.
Yep. And then, hopefully, I mean, he didn't work out in Dallas. He didn't work out in Boston. So let's hope that he does the best in Washington. But I wish him all the best, though. This one's going to break Tina's heart because she is a Dallas Stars fan. And I am going to tell her about it anyway because it is my show and I am going to fucking...
Oh, well, not listening. They will listen. Oh.
You make me laugh. 5 years, $22.5 million with the Florida Panthers for Jason Demers.
I was really heartbroken to see him go because, obviously we have Ben and Sagan in the locker room with that veteran presence, but
Demers was always that guy for me, just kind of watching the team that if a younger guy, say, Nitchinskin had a question, he would have asked Demers, or, if everybody was in a sour mood, Demers would be like, "It's okay, guys, Dad's got you." We call them, myself and a couple other fans call them Daddy.
Interesting. And I think what's most pathetic about him is that Jason Demers was actually a depth player for the San Jose Sharks, and he was traded for Brendan Dillon for a couple years ago. Yeah. But I'm happy for Demers. He's actually going to get a chance to play in Florida with Aaron Ekblad and Mark Pazik and Keith Yandel. So right now, Florida's got a good core four. And Demers would be the replacement for Brian Campbell. So this is a great signing by the Panthers. And the Florida Panthers, I'll tackle them in the end of the video, but they've been doing a lot of great things. Where we're gonna get.
Oh gosh, yeah.
They've been doing a lot of great things. Where is my list? Where was I doing? Jason Demers? Okay. Patrick Eves resigns with Dallas for 1 year for $1 million.
Good move by Dallas.
Yep. Not gonna argue with that one. It's a good move. Not sure why, because he was kind of like Jordy Van, and you either liked him or you didn't. And I was kind of like, all right, he seems like a good player. Fine.
He was a former Preds player. Do you realize that?
Well, now you tell me. No, I didn't.
Yeah, and he was traded for David Legwand too. Patrick Eves. He was traded from Detroit to Nashville for David Legwand. And David Legwand's free agent, but he was on Buffalo this past season. So, personally, I can't complain about that. So,
there's nothing I can whine about. So, moving on.
Yep, moving on. This is one of the fewer big fish, big superstar guys on the market, and the contract for this from this deal is absolutely ridiculous. 6 years. $36 million from the Boston Bruins to the Vancouver Canucks for Louis Eriksson.
Oh my gosh.
He's a good player though. I mean, he's a 30 goal scorer, and he can be playing with Sedins in Vancouver. So I'm happy for him.
I think him and the Sedins, I might have butchered that name, or I probably didn't, I don't know. It's just that could be a really killer offensive combo.
Absolutely. And so many Canucks fans are like, oh, they definitely could be a playoff team because they have a bunch of pair-duo twins and a 30-year-old who's just going to step in. So you have pretty much the big trio of Swedes on that line. And I think what's pathetic about this signing is not only did the Boston Bruins did not sign Louis Eriksson, but they pretty much let him walk for nothing. They let him walk for nothing just 3 years after the Tyler Seguin trade. 3 years.
I mean, that's interesting because I didn't know that that he walked away after that much, but after the trade. But I mean, I guess if Boston felt like they needed to get rid of something to start redesigning their team, then I guess that's it.
Well, that's probably a good excuse why they got David Backes, because he was an impact player. He's younger than Louis Eriksson. Well, actually, no, he's 2 years older than Louis Eriksson, but Louis Eriksson was asking for way too much in Boston, so they didn't have a choice but to let him go. But for him to go to Vancouver and get that opening start, I'm happy for him. He's a big name free agent, and a lot of Canucks fans are absolutely loving this. So, can you really blame them for being this excited about Louis Eriksson?
No, but probably a lot of Canucks fans are going to get mad for me at this.
Turn on, will you?
Yelling at the TV.
What input does it go on?
Color string or video. Try one of those. Anyhow, back to what I was saying about the Canucks. They're probably going to get mad at me for saying this, but one player does not change a team dramatically. I mean, sure, it can, but you got a lot of other stuff to focus on before you make it to the playoffs. Hate to say it, but I did.
It's the truth. I mean, look at Edmonton with Connor McDavid. You know, they're trying so hard to build a team around him. Just years after getting their first core, now they're trying to get rid of half of the second. You know, they already traded. They traded. Yeah, they traded Taylor Hall a couple of days ago, just 2 days before free agency.
Yes, I fixed it.
Tina, yay.
Yep. And then, you know, they trade Taylor Hall, and then,
Oh, jeez.
yeah, for Adam Larson. And you know what? Edmonton may have gotten their number one defenseman, but who knows? So,
Okay, good for Edmonton that they made that deal. Awesome. You have your number one offensive guy, you have your number one defensive guy. Who else will be either on that line, on that pairing, who else will be behind them? Because you can't necessarily rely on 2 to 3 players to carry a team, even to playoff contention. It's impossible.
I mean, they traded for Erica Branson. They got Bo Horvat. They got, who else is in Vancouver? Jake Virtanen. They got Louis Eriksson. They got the Sedins. So they got a decent team in there, but it's not enough to get them over the hump to make the playoffs. Because the 2015 playoffs, they looked much, much better. And then this year, they just fell absolutely flat. So I think the Vancouver Canucks can do some damage, but we'll have to really see what really folds into the regular season. Because the Canucks, to me, are maybe going into rebuild. And the problem is in Vancouver is Jim Benning and his scouts want to go into a full rebuild, but the ownership wants to keep the team in place. You know, keep the Sedins, keep Ryan Miller, keep all those guys together, and then just use them for what they had. I mean, it's not 2011, because 2011 they had a very good team, and then they fell into the Stanley Cup Finals to Boston, and then just fell from there. And right after that, the Canucks, you know, ownership is just like, stay the fuck away, let us do our job, and go from there. So that's why I don't think the signing of Louis Eriksson is not just a positive, but it could get them into the right direction. But then again, the ownership is going to come in and bitch about it, say, hey, you know, we want to keep everybody in place. Don't trade away the Sedins. Don't trade away Ryan Miller. You know, keep ready and we try to win a Stanley Cup. It's like, that's not how you really win a championship if you don't let your guys go, because you're just pretty much wasting Daniel Henrik Sedin's time in Vancouver, unless something miraculously happens. But then again, you never know. Louis Eriksson could put in some magic.
I mean, I see why they would want to keep a core players, and, you know, yes, because some of those players have done something in the past, but at the same time, I mean, some of them, they have to move on if they want to even attempt at making the playoffs, if they want to even have a chance at rebuilding, redesigning, and reclaiming whatever happened in 2011.
That's true, and that, like I said, they were the best team in 2011, and they lost in 7 to Boston, so who knows? So that's the Vancouver Canucks for Louis Eriksson. Where am I? Here we go. Vernon Fittler to the New Jersey Devils for 1 year for $1.25 million.
Tina, that's you.
Do what?
I said Vernon Fittler went to New Jersey for 1 year for $1.25 million.
You know what? That was a little bit of a shocker to me. I don't know what Neil has up his sleeve. What he's planning with letting all these amazing players go. I'm not saying they're, you know, your Jamie Benn, your Tyler Seguin, but they were still key parts to the Dallas Stars team. I'm not saying it's a bad move, but I'm not applauding it, saying good move, good move. He was horrible in the locker room, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
He's not a bad player. I think they got a steal with that one.
I don't know. We'll have to find out down the road. So, fuck, I lost my train of thought again. Here we go. Next signing is, here we go. Dan Hamhuis to the Dallas Stars for 2 years for $7.5 million.
Aha, the replacement for Demers. Honestly, now I'm starting to find out what the heck Neil has up his sleeve, which I actually still don't know, but I'm getting there. It's becoming a little bit clearer day by day. I like the move. I think he's going to. I think
he obviously wanted to come to Dallas for some odd reason, probably the chase after a cup, because we're there. We're so close to reaching it again. This season was just one, we set the bar. Now can we set it higher for this season, or can we go big or go home? So I think he's going to fit in perfectly.
I guess so. I mean, hopefully you can pretty much impress your defense by just going with what you have. You know what I mean? Just take what you got and just go. It's only a matter of time. Let me see. Yuri Hutler is still available. I have heard the New York Islanders are interested in him, but I don't know if that's a fact. Quentin Holton, no. Carter Hutton. Now, this one I would want to talk to Shannon about because she's a big Predators fan.
No, I don't want to hear this.
Yes. Okay.
No.
Yes. He's signing a 2-year deal for $2.250 million with the St. Louis Blues to back up Jay Gallen.
Oh, no. He could have. I get his reasons why, but just no. It crushed. That one really did bother me.
Would you like to explain?
Because I always thought when Rinne was out, he was out quite often, unfortunately, sometimes. He did a very good job, but his reasons for leaving, the lack of playing time, I get that. I can't argue with that necessarily, So, unfortunately, I have to put my emotions aside and think with logic. So, logic says, hopefully he'll get what he wants, more playing time.
Maybe.
But emotions just, no.
Yeah, did I make you cry?
What? Me? No, I'm distracted by Supernatural season finale.
Oh, I thought you were crying because of Carter Hudson. I've never heard anybody cry over a backup. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not crying. I'm just distracted by Supernatural season finale.
That's fine. Next one is Chad Johnson from the Buffalo Sabres to the Calgary Flames for 1 year for $1.7. And this one for me, I'm kind of crushed he left, but at the same time, I understand what the Sabres are trying to say. They want to get younger in terms of goaltending. They want to get a goalie who can pretty much be assembling to Robin Lehner, because Chad Johnson was going to be a 1-year wanderer. He had a career year in Buffalo, and all of a sudden he just leaves. Not that it matters. And he was telling the media, the Sabres never contacted me and saying, I personally don't want to leave Buffalo, but at the same time, if there's a place for me that I'm willing to go, fine by me. And sure enough, he gets a contract with Calgary for $1.7. So next year you have Brian Elliott and Chad Johnson. So I'm happy for the signing for him. So I wish him all the best at Calgary for sure. But I will miss Chad Johnson. But we'll have to find out what the details come into later. That's that. That's for sure. Who else is on this list? Just to talk about them. 1 second, guys. I apologize. Ben Lovejoy. Here we go. Ben Lovejoy for 3 years, $8 million to the New Jersey Devils.
Ooh, that's
good move by them.
Man.
Good move. So, very sneaky flaw.
Maybe. So, New Jersey's an interesting place to play, that's for sure. Oh, shit, I forgot one. Okay, this one I wanted to talk about, and you two can explain this to me. And as an Islanders fan, even though I don't post a lot of my Islander stuff in the background, I am an Islander fan, and I'm going to talk about it. I completely went over this, by the way. Just went over. Is Angel Ladd to the New York Islanders for 7 years, worth about, let me see where it is. Here it is, $38.5 million.
Ooh. I totally forgot about the Ladd ordeal, but very good but expensive pickup by the Islanders.
I personally love it.
I think is he worth it?
Yeah, I'm not
sure how the long-term effects are going to be.
I mean, by the time this contract expires, Andrew Ladd will be 37 when the contract expires. He's 30 years old right now, and because Kyle Okposo left for free agency, and we're gonna get to him in a little while, and I'll explain my feelings about that in a little bit as well. But with the Islanders going in, they lost a lot of key forwards. So getting Andrew Ladd to replace Okposo was a healthy ordeal move because Ladd is more consistent than Okposo, and he's not going to put up the same numbers as Okposo, but when you put on a guy like Andrew Ladd on the same line, on first line minutes with John Tavares, that's a guarantee that they're going to pull up the trigger and be like, hey, we got one winger, now let's go out and get another one. That's pretty much the goal for the Islanders.
Exactly.
That's the goal for the Islanders right now.
I think this move's going to pay off for them, I can tell you that.
Yeah,
I
especially if
think
they lock down Ladd for a long-term deal. I mean, yes, it is for a lot of money, but still, this move will pay off for them. I mean, granted, they still need a little bit of help in some areas, as you're saying, the forwards and that, but, it's a good start for them, and hopefully the future is bright for them.
It definitely is. I mean, they also got some good prospects coming up. They got Michael Del Cole. They have Josh Hosang. They have Josh Hosang, and they have Anthony. They have Matt Barzal. They have Anthony Belvillier, and they got a bunch of young core players either in the AHL or in the juniors. They're developing their players, but I just hope the Islanders re-sign John Tavares in 2 years. I mean, he's probably going to stay on Long Island, and I'm sure he will. But Garth Snow better get this out of his ass, because if they don't make the playoffs, Snow is out of here. Same with Capuano. They're both gone if they don't make the playoffs next year. But I think this should be okay for now, because getting Andrew Ladd was a huge impact for them. But like I said, they need another winger for Tavares, because you can't just have one guy be done with it. That's not how it works. I'm sorry.
Well, it's kind of the same issue that I was talking about with Vancouver earlier.
They can't just rely on 1, 2, 3 guys to carry a whole team. It's impossible.
I mean, a lot of Islander fans I hear say, "Oh, JT carried us into the playoffs." I'm like, no. In case you forgot, Tavares is the franchise player. I totally get that. I love John Tavares. He's one of my favorite players. But he's probably my favorite Islander he's probably my favorite Islander next to Cal Clutterbuck. But personally, as a fan, you can't just have JT do all the work. I mean, Okposo disappeared in the playoffs, so that's that. And going into the free agency, he had no desire to resign with the Islanders. So Okposo was out of the picture, and the Islanders knew going in, so they'd be like, okay, let's go get another winger. Because there were talks about Louis Eriksson, and there were talks about, obviously Andrew Ladd, but that really puts a stamp on it, saying, the Islanders finally got an experienced, consistent winger, and, he's been a leader before, and he provides more leadership, maybe can help the Islanders going forward. So I'm hoping all the best for Andrew Ladd. It's going to be exciting to see him on Long Island, and hopefully he works out for them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I definitely love the move, though. Definitely. Love this move. I already talked about Lovejoy. Okay. Probably one of the top 3 big fish. And you guys may disagree with me on this, but I don't know how you're going to react. And here it is. 7 years, $42 million for Milan Lucic to the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh. And you said the Edmonton Oilers are trying to destroy their court?
Well, they technically did. I mean, the Boston Bruins are already they're already being infected with the Shirley disease, because the Boston Bruins got it, and now the Edmonton Oilers are going to get it. But some people are telling me, oh, Edmonton should be fine. I'm like, how are you going to be fine if you just traded Taylor Hall? But it does, at the same time, not when you think about it, it does make sense. I mean, think about it. It makes sense. You trade away Taylor Hall to New Jersey. That helps them for sure. But dumping that salary just to bring in Milan Lucic. So now, and he's going to be playing first-line minutes with Connor McDavid next season with, I think, Jordan Eberle. But I don't know what the deal is with that. But next year, Lucic and McDavid are going to put up some numbers. And on the same time, if somebody tries to, intimidate McDavid, Milan Lucic is right there. It's like, dude, what the fuck? What is all this?
Well, not only that, too, Lucci, I hope I pronounced his name right. Once again, still butchering names.
Milan Lucic, yeah.
Yeah. Um, he'll bring leadership to that team, experience, and that could be one of the key things the Edmonton Oilers need is just experience because to me they seem like a young team. They're young. There's quite a few young bloods on the team. So if he can bring that veteran presence and experience and kind of maybe be a mentor for some players like McDavid, that way either he can mature, he can improve his game, then that's an awesome move for Edmonton.
And he's a big guy too. He's a big guy who could skate and score goals and create plays, and he's a big body. I mean, he brings a lot of the evidence in terms of his offensive game to Edmonton for sure. And if you recall, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, or it might have been earlier. I don't remember. You guys can help me out with this. And there were reports about him signing with the Oilers for originally it was going to be 7 years, $49 million. But then when it came down to the last day or the day before free agency, it was 7 years, $42 million. But then there was other reports about Jason Demers signing with Edmonton. But of course, that turned out to be false because obviously we mentioned earlier on the show that he went to the Florida Panthers.
Yeah. Well, and that's another key issue with this free agency thing because in a day, I mean, I know this is probably brought up later, but I'm going to bring it up now. Steven Stamkos, all of those rumors.
Oh my God. I remember.
All those rumors. He could go here, there. Basically at one point it was like, well, which team does not want Steven Stamkos? But that's the issue, is rumors. Don't know what's true or not unless, it's like, yes, this officially happened, instead of, oh, Steven Stamkos could go to the Toronto or da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, he was going to go to Toronto. He was going to talks about going to Detroit. There was talks about him going to Buffalo. There was talks of him going to Montreal, the Rangers, Boston. But in the end, Steve Yzerman kept his word. He stuck to what he had originally. It was he was going to get no more than 8.5. And I think Stamkos could have took a discount, but then again, I can't say enough about the signing. So I'm very happy for Steven Stamkos. He's signing with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and for 8 years, $68 million. And I should also mention, while we're talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning, before we continue, is Victor Hedman re-signed for the same similar contract, but I think it was for like 8 years, worth about $63 million, I believe. Yeah, so he signed a similar deal with Steven Stamkos, but he's making $5 million less. So that's that.
Wow.
I mean, and
good for Tampa, but they still need to sign a few more of their players. I'm not even going to try to attempt names because the Tampa Bay fans will get mad at me. I know one of them's like Vladdy or things like that. So maybe they should.
Yeah, but Andrei Vasilevsky re-signed already.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You know who I'm
Cooch needs
talking
to
about.
resign as well. Yeah.
That's true.
Mr.
Chris Taylor's got to leave, guys.
We still need to work on our pronunciation.
You got a long fucking summer. Next signing is... That's for sure. Next signing is Matt Martin from the New York Islanders, and I'm pretty upset about this too. Is Matt Martin leaving the New York Islanders to the Toronto Maple Leafs for 4 years, $10 million. God damn it.
Okay, wait. He went from the Islanders to the Maple Leafs?
Yep, 4 years, $10 million with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Why would you go to Toronto?
Maybe,
Oh my god.
Maybe they offered the best money to him. Who knows?
Well, unfortunately, that's what the game's become nowadays. It's for what's best for business, and maybe that's what it was. Just being what's best for business.
Maybe, but Toronto though, as much as
It's Toronto. It's not New Jersey. It's not Pittsburgh. It's Toronto. Sorry, Toronto Maple Leafs fans.
Yeah, but yeah, so I think with Toronto, they got a little bit grittier, but Maple Leaf fans are gonna absolutely love him. And as an Islander fan, he works hard. He's a fourth line winger. Like I said, he works extremely hard. He will definitely not back down. He's a fighter. He's got a loud mouth. Everything you need in an enforcer. And Matt Martin, going into the Toronto Maple Leafs, I forget the estimate number, but I believe he was the leading hitter in the NHL. He was the leader in hits last season. So
I believe it.
yeah, I mean, he's a grinder. He was on that show Road to the Winter Classic. It was HBO's 24/7 Road to the Winter Classic with the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs, and they did a recording with Detroit and the New York Islanders, and he was talking to Drew Miller, and he was having a discussion. He was like, "This is the National Leagues," and Matt Martin's like, "What?" He's like, "You should be in the minors," and his response was, "You were in the minors longer than me, you dumb fuck."
Woo!
I mean,
Shots fired.
I mean, it's true. It's true. Yeah, so overall, like I said, I'm pretty upset that Matt Martin is going to the Toronto Maple Leafs. But I'm gonna miss him though. He was a kind of favorite for the New York Islanders for a long time.
Oh,
Ne-
yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. Next move is Sean Matthias to the Winnipeg Jets for 2 years for 4.200. Tongue twister.
Take two.
Yeah, 2 years, 4.25 million from Colorado to Winnipeg
Ooh.
for Sean Matthias. Pretty good signing too. I mean, gives them another winger to play with. You know, which
It's sneaky hot move by them because, the sneaky little move because, no one, everyone else was focused on the bigger fish like Stamkos and people of that caliber rather than the guy blanked because of Supernatural. Sorry. And it's a sneaky hot move.
definitely. And next move is I was actually kind of upset, but I was hoping for a reunion in Buffalo, but apparently that did not work out too well. And a guy I actually grew to really like in Buffalo, and I didn't really get to see him enough to play out west because he's mostly out west, but because Buffalo was the only Eastern Conference team he's actually played for. But I guess you could say he's played better hockey out west. But it's Jamie McGinn from the Anaheim Ducks to the Arizona Coyotes for 3 years, $10 million.
I like that move by Arizona. You may not like it, but I do. I'm not gonna lie. It's a good move for Arizona because they're not, and hell, if our Arizona admin was on here, we'd be arguing. But
Who wouldn't we be arguing with now?
well, let me explain. Let me explain.
Okay,
Thank
go
you
ahead,
very
go ahead.
much.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Anyway, they're just hey. I haven't started. God. All right. Oh yeah, I remember what I was gonna say. Damn it. No, I don't. Yeah. Yes, I do. Yes.
I am Tina. I have short-term memory loss issues.
Very short term. Ooh, fireworks.
Yeah, Doris.
I remember what I was gonna say. We had this discussion a week ago or a couple weeks ago, and it was during the draft. And he just kept complaining, "Why are they making all these moves?" And he was saying, "They keep telling us the future is now." And I said, "Well, it is. You've been hearing this for 5, 10, however long you've been hearing it. One day, yeah, they're gonna truly mean it. They're going to go, well, I told you so."
That is true. And let me check if my dog wants me. Yeah, come on in, Dan. Yeah, it's my dog. Sorry, guys.
Mommy!
Yeah.
Face that dog.
Yeah, he's over here. Oh, great. Damn. Are you going to the door, seriously?
Of course.
Ah, fuck. My life. Anyway, moving on. Jamie McGinn, like I said, 3 years, $10 million to the Arizona Coyotes. So, worked out well from there. Okay. Next signing, Al Montoya from the Florida Panthers to the Montreal Canadiens for 1 year for $950,000. So from what this sounds like, Al Montoya is going to play for the St. John's Ice Caps next year. And that's the Montreal Canadiens affiliate team, because Montoya was the backup to Roberto Luongo last season.
Ooh, I mean, anything can happen, but yeah, Montreal, I don't. Wow, that's interesting because unless their affiliate needs a goaltender, what? Okay, unless you're looking for a better backup, the Carey Price maybe. But I thought that guy was really good. Wow, that's interesting.
Yep.
I don't get that move.
I
Mhm.
I can see why though. And this is another heartbreaker for me, for my Islander viewers, is Franz Nielsen. I'm kind of upset about this because he was the longest tenure Islander since 2005-06. That was his rookie season, and here we are 10 years later. He's no longer on the Islanders, and it breaks my heart personally. Is that Franz Nielsen at 32 years old has signed with the so Franz Nielsen went from the New York Islanders to the Detroit Red Wings for 6 years for $31.5 million.
Yep. Um, it kind of stinks if you're partly an Islanders fan, but I'm not gonna argue against the move. It's a good sneaky hot move by them. I have nothing to complain about.
That is true. And then you know what? Red Wings fans are going to absolutely love him because two reasons. One, he was on Detroit's list behind Lucic and Stamkos, and obviously Stamkos resigned and Lucic went to Edmonton, so their best option was going to be Franz Nielsen. And so they got his wish for $31.5 million for 6 years with the Detroit Red Wings. So, and they're going to love his backhanding because when they go into the shootout, Franz Nielsen is absolutely dangerous with the puck. You know, he's got one of the best backhanded shots in the National Hockey League, period. So, Red Wings fans are going to absolutely love that.
Oh yeah.
They're definitely going to love that for sure. And here is my next favorite move. And this one got me really excited, and this created a lot of buzz because I'm also an Islander fan, as I've just mentioned throughout the whole show. My favorite team picked up Kyle Opozo, the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres, for the first time in franchise history ever, picked up the big fish, the number one big fish in the free agent market this year. And that was Kyle Opozo to the Buffalo Sabres for 7 years, worth about, let me see, altogether $42 million? Yeah, $42 million for 7 years with the Buffalo Sabres. So that's the same contract that he's getting with Milan Lucic.
You know what? I'm not gonna. That's a heck of a move for the Sabres. They are really pushing for that opportunity to, well, not be a bottom dweller, but to actually be in contention.
I mean, looking into next year, you know, I got the Jag Eichel USA jersey behind me for Independence Day tomorrow. So happy 4th of July, and I got that jersey rocking behind me. Yep. And so, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So next year, you're going to have Eichel, O'Reilly, Reinhart, Opozo, Kane, Jonta. Holy shit. I mean, and then possibly Jimmy Vesey. Holy fucking shit. Look at look what the Buffalo Sabres are doing. Any real hockey fan would say the Buffalo Sabres are on fire, and they are building something absolutely dangerous in Buffalo.
They're rebuilding.
They
That's
are.
what I'd call it. Not redesigning, they're rebuilding. And this year could be a really incredible year for them.
If they're consistent and they're healthy, absolutely. The Sabres actually might make the playoffs this year. I mean, with the addition of Kyle Opozo, you know, this can create more offense. They need more scoring. So, and then if they can possibly sign Jimmy Vesey after Independence Day, that's great. I think that would be awesome. Get Vesey signed right before August 15th, and hopefully you can go from there. So,
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping for the best in Buffalo. I absolutely love Kyle Opozo. He's a great player. And I give Tim Murray props for going after him. So, like I said, 7 years, $42 million with the Buffalo Sabres. Next signing is Steve Ott. Now, I suppose that a lot of you... Yeah, Steve Ott signed a 1-year, $800,000 contract with the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. Not because of anything hockey like facts wise, but of uh opinions and stories I read.
Wait, can you reword that? What did you say?
That's interesting because like like facts. I don't know a lot about Steve Ott other than some types of writing portray him as like a fighter, a dirty player. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not.
It is, because he was with Buffalo and he did the same tactics in Dallas. And I actually remember this too. I think it was like 4 years ago. Steve Ott was actually traded from Dallas to Buffalo for Derek Roy, but Derek Roy's not even in the National Hockey League anymore. And Steve Ott is still playing, which is amazing enough. But he was a fan favorite in Dallas for a while, then he got traded to Buffalo.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, I like Steve Ott though. I actually have a Steve Ott jersey, but it's up in the attic because he's not on the team anymore. Where are we? Here we go. David Perron. Okay, this one I told you about a little while back. And David Perron actually got interest from the Nashville Predators, and apparently he declined that. And he is apparently going back to St. Louis for 2 years, $7 million.
If he declined something with the Predators, wow, dude. But I mean, if that's his hometown team, if he's established them, then I couldn't blame him.
That's where he That's where he technically started his whole career. He was in St. Louis.
Then if that's the team that jump-started your career, I couldn't blame him for going back then.
I mean, fair enough to that. Wait, who did I say again? David Perron? Yeah, I did say that. Okay, so P.A. Parenteau, one of my favorite players growing up on the New York Islanders, re-signed from the Toronto Maple Leafs to the New York Islanders for 1 year for $1.5 million. I love that move. So this gives them the probation of JT, Parenteau, and Andrew Ladd next season. So good stuff there for the New York Islanders. But P.A. Parenteau is much, much older, so I can't really say. It doesn't really affect me, but whatever. Worked out well for me. Next one is Teddy Purcell from the Florida Panthers to the Los Angeles Kings. And apparently there is no contract in place for him right now, but I believe it was a 1 year deal for $1.5 million as well. Could be higher, but who knows?
Wow.
I think,
That's-
it's almost like...
Yeah, hold on. Gotta let the dog out. He's annoying the hell out of me. Alright, Dan, come on. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Yep. Sorry. And he's gonna come back in. He's gonna do stuff like that. He's gonna do that pretty much for the rest of the ending of the show. Well, hopefully not, but who knows? Did you guys give an opinion about Teddy Purcell?
I was going to say it's almost like he wants to contend for the cup, and I don't know exactly where. I don't exactly know why Los Angeles is. Granted, I know they were in the playoffs and they're constantly pretty much in all the time, but I don't know if that's a good, smart move to like a solid cup contender. Say like Anaheim or even San Jose to some degree, but
Well, the
if
issue
he wants to go there, then be my guest.
There's no
Change of
contract in place,
Yeah, exactly.
so who knows if it's really true or not.
Because he kind of was a failure in Florida. But I can see why the Kings need him, but, I mean, he's only 30 years old, so he could be a legitimate winger with Ante Kopitar and Dustin Brown and all those guys. So I don't really know what the plan is for the Los Angeles Kings, but maybe this is just to help them out, get a little bit of more goal scoring depth. I don't know. Maybe this is a replacement for Vinny Lecavalier. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe this is an indication to replace Vinny Lecavalier, but who really knows? But we'll have to find out. And this next signing is an absolute fucking joke. And this actually leads up to the PK Subban situation. And Shannon, you can absolutely, and both of you, I should say, you can both kick in your situations here. And this pretty much indicates Shannon, in case you're wondering, is Alexander Radulov. 1 year for $5.75 million with the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh,
That's going to be interesting.
Montreal.
I don't know what to think of that because he'll be playing with one of his former teammates with Shea Weber, so it could either go really well, or it can just epically fail because of what he did to Nashville. I mean, you forgive, you forget, but you never let it go.
Same with you right now with Jimmy Vesey.
Don't even. God, those two names.
Yeah, and he could potentially be a Buffalo Sabre by the end of this week.
He still wants to go to free agency.
Well, that's technically a smokescreen because the Boston Globe pretty much recycled what was already said, and his agent has said he was open to anything, and they're planning to meet with Buffalo this week, and they have until August 15th to sign him. So they have all of July and middle of August to sign him. So they got that to tell them to sign him.
I wish them the best of luck with that because he still wants to test out free agency, which I don't get because that's what's going on right now. But I mean, best of luck to Buffalo. I mean, part of me says that sarcastically, part of me doesn't.
Yeah, maybe. But tell us what you really feel about Radulov coming back to the National Hockey League.
You lied to me.
I didn't lie.
No, not. I'm just saying like rumors of that because he wanted to play KHL, NHL. You know, where did this guy want to go? So it's a little bit ironic, maybe, if I would call it that he ended up with the Canadians. Canadians. Sorry, I know what she's doing. And it's just interesting to know that he signed with the team that one of his former teammates got traded to. I mean, for me, that's just coincident. Well, since I'm watching Supernatural, I say not, but it's probably because I'm a Supernatural fan, and that's what, everything's not a coincidence.
Well, not every detail is a coincidence, but from what I gather, Shea Weber and Alexander Radulov do not have the best connection in the world. And yeah, apparently this is the case with Shea Weber signing with Montreal. Going to Montreal, excuse me. And apparently, I actually read a very interesting article about this move the other day. And supposedly, Shea Weber and what's his face, Alexander Radulov are legitimately not even close to being best friends at all. And
I believe it.
yeah, here we go. And this is from the Complete Hockey News, by the way. I'm grabbing the article from here, and I'm gonna read this to you. And he says, Montreal Canadiens defenseman Shea Weber on our new teammate Alexander Radulov. In quote. I don't really know what to say about it because I was one of the guys that stood up for him and wanted him back. There were a bunch of us that played with him that felt the same way. You feel a little bit betrayed, but I am sure he feels bad about it now, and he looks back on it and wishes it didn't happen. Those are the things you can't take back, and we've got to move forward.
It's kind of like, I thought of a wrestling reference that only Tina would understand. It's kind of like, they want, all those years ago, they wanted Radulov back. I butchered that. They wanted him back, and yet he chose to go to the KHL, and now he's back, with Weber. It'll be interesting to see how it will all go down, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty much the indication. Montreal trades PK Subban, just a dump salary, and their biggest acquisition, okay, to clear off locker room attitude, quote unquote, by Mark Bergevin, goes out to trade PK Subban, who they claim is a locker room cancer, and they bring in another one in Radulov, who claims is better than mostly anybody, and he was in the KHL for 4 years, and comes back to the NHL and plays on the same team that Shea Weber played with prior. What kind of idiot GM makes this kind of logic?
I mean, from what I've read, about Subban, outside of the rink, including the locker room, he seems like, very helping to the community in that, which is good, very good. I think it's just Canadians seemed like a very old school style team, and like they're rigid. You know, they've been around for a while. They're established in that. While Nashville, might be better for Subban because I don't know if he's a locker room cancer or not. Again, but he can be more of himself. He has charisma, good or bad. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But Radulov and Weber, that's not going to end well.
We'll find out from going into the next season, but maybe we're seeing something that nobody else has. Anyway, moving on. This one was probably one of the premier goalies in the free agent market, and he's probably the best goalie free agent available, and it pretty much indicates what I'm talking about. James Reimer from the San Jose Sharks to the Florida Panthers for 5 years, $17 million. And keep in mind, he's already been claimed to be the starting goalie in October because of Luongo's surgery. Yeah, because Luongo got surgery, and he won't be back till like mid-November. So James Reimer is the guy until he comes back.
Oh, man.
Wow, that's interesting because I guess that's a smart move by the Panthers because they've got a legit, I think when Luongo comes back, a legit backup to where it'll work out in the end.
But him starting off this season, I'm not Luongo, the Reiner.
Yeah, James Reimer.
Thank you. I think that's a little bit of a risk. I'm not saying that because he's a rookie or anything. I think they were going after him for him being.
He was not a rookie at all.
No, I'm not saying he's a rookie. No. I think they were pursuing him as well. How old's Luongo?
Luongo is like 37, 38, and James Reimer is 20. And James Reimer's 28.
Okay, so it's almost like Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler. You have Manning for a couple of years to, get the team out there, the Broncos, and then Osweiler would learn and soak up that knowledge. I feel like that was the move the Panthers were going for, but with the injury now, Reiner's thrusted into this position where he kind of has to learn as he goes, a new team, a new system. So that's going to be interesting.
I mean, he could at least say, "Thank God I'm not going back to the Toronto Maple Leafs."
Oh yeah, for sure.
You could definitely say thank God to that. And San Jose had no room for him, so I'm sure San Jose is probably going to still need a backup goalie, and I'm sure they'll find one or trade for one, but I don't know. I don't really know what their story is, but yeah. James Reimer to the Florida Panthers, 5 years, $17 million. Excellent signing. Colton Scrivier, I know you like this signing, Tina, from the Dallas Stars to the Florida Panthers for 2 years, $1.9 million. So that's close to $2 million right there for him.
Yeah, it was a good saying. Oh my gosh, good signing. I like it.
I mean, for Florida, prospectively.
Yeah. I'm not gonna argue. It's a good move. Florida is really trying to rebuild and prove that last year they weren't just good. They are there to stay.
That's for sure. And this one's pretty interesting too. This was another big name. Eric Stahl from the New York Rangers to the Minnesota Wild for 3 years for $10.5 million.
Ooh, yeah, I remember that. In a way, didn't he used to play with his brother?
Yeah, Jordan and Eric were on the same team together, and then Eric was like, "I'm getting old. I don't want to be in Carolina."
I mean, kind of sad to see that happen, but I get why, So it's an interesting move for one thing.
I mean, Minnesota does need a number one center, so it does make sense for them to go after a guy like Eric Stahl because of the Thomas Vanek experiment. That did not work out too well for them for 2.5 years, and and they bring in Eric Stahl, and he's a 31-year-old who he may not be the star that he was many, many years ago, but he definitely is a guy that can put up. He has experience, absolutely, but I don't think he's going to be the same player as he was with the Carolina Hurricanes, for sure.
Oh yeah, for
That
sure.
that's just my take. Victor Stahlberg went to Carolina from the New York Rangers for 1 year, 1.5. That's not important. Lee Stepniak went to Carolina for 2 years, $5 million.
Two very interesting deals there. For sure. I mean, wow, that's interesting. Didn't know that about those two.
Yep. And right after Eric Stahl, the Minnesota Wild went out and reacquired Chris Stewart, who they before went back to Minnesota. He was with Anaheim, and he was traded from Buffalo to Minnesota. Went to Anaheim, now he's back to Minnesota. He's signing for 2 years for $2.3 million.
Oh yeah. That's wow. Why are you re-signing a guy they let go? I don't get it, but it happens, I guess. I mean, maybe they regret that decision they made in the past. So I think that'll help them now, but the history behind that though is what doesn't make sense because they let him go, but now they're re-signing him. Okay, that's interesting.
I don't get that either.
It happened to Matt Molson. Matt Molson was from the Islanders to Buffalo, to Minnesota, then back to Buffalo 2 years ago.
Good grief.
Yeah, and P.A. Parenteau too. P.A. Parenteau just did it recently. He went from the Islanders to Colorado, then Montreal, got bounced to Toronto, and then he came back to the New York Islanders. Yeah, some players just do it. Maybe because they feel they have a better system over there. But who really knows? Fedor Tutin signs a 1 year, $2 million deal with the Colorado Avalanche. But maybe this can help them out a little bit in terms of leadership in Denver, because there has been rumblings about Colorado. We'll get to that in a little bit. Thomas Vanek. Now, this one I want to dig into, and I know you two really, really, really seem to hate this guy, but I loved him as a player on the Sabres, and he was a piece of shit on the Islanders, but whatever. Thomas Vanek signed a 1 year, $2.6 million deal with the Detroit Red Wings.
Oh.
No. Just no.
No.
What? What's the matter?
Don't like
Just something about his playing style just does not sit well with me. No, just God. Wow.
I mean, he was a 30-plus goal scorer. I mean, if you put him on a line with like Fisher and Forsberg, he'll definitely contribute.
Yeah.
He was a 40 goal scoring guy twice with Buffalo, so that worked out a lot well in the past when he was in his prime. But Vanek's kind of washed up now. But unfortunately, you don't really know what's going to happen these days. But like I said, Vanek is getting a 1 year trial with Detroit. Yeah, definitely. I think it will work out well. Yannick Weber from the Vancouver Canucks to the Nashville Predators for 1 year for $575,000. What do you think?
Oh, wait, that's my cue. It's ironic, honestly, because we just traded away a guy, Shea Weber, and now we get Yannick Weber. And at first, looking at the two last names, I'm like, are they related? What's going on here? And they're not. I found out, but it's a little bit ironic, but it's a little bit like salt in the wound too, because we just lost someone named Weber. Now we're getting a guy that's named Weber. And the funny thing is, on his former team, he wore number 6. So what is he going to do here?
Yeah, could you imagine all the people around Nashville just wearing Weber jerseys with unintentionally wearing Yannick Weber when they're just so influenced by Shea Weber?
Well, I think I've heard that he will not wear the number 6. So, but it's just a little bit of salt in the wound, a little bit of irony, but
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but I think he'll do okay. Next signing is Dale Weiss from the Chicago Blackhawks to the Philadelphia Flyers for 4 years for $9.4 million.
Huh. That's interesting.
It's definitely an interesting signing.
Tired, sis?
Yeah.
Yeah, drink some coffee and you'll be fucking awake for sure.
I've never had coffee. Don't plan on it. And don't talk about soda either. Don't plan on having that either.
Yep.
Okay then, fair enough. Ryan White from the Philadelphia Flyers to the Arizona Coyotes for 1 year, $1 million. Pretty good depth guy, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I think that's a good move by them.
Maybe. And then the Colorado Avalanche Colorado Avalanche signed Patrick Weirkosh for 1 year for $800,000. Depth guy, can't really say. And the last one I want to talk about, I know this was a little long, but just bear with me. The last signing on this list was Mr. Game 1, a.k.a. Jeff Zatkoff, to the Los Angeles Kings for 2 years for $1.8 million.
Wow.
And they called him Mr. Game 1 was because he won the first game in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs against the Rangers when Matt Murray and Marc-Andre Fleury were injured.
Hey.
Then rightfully deserved that title.
Yep, not gonna lie. That's a rightfully deserved title.
And then, of course,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and you know what? It seems to work out well for anybody at this point, but I'm happy for him, and that's all that matters to me, is if he wants to sign as a legitimate backup to Jonathan Quick, be my guest.
He'll be learning from one of the greats in the NHL, too, so that'll help him in the long run, too.
I believe he's only 27, 28 years old, and that's young.
Oh,
That's,
wow.
yeah, but he's definitely not a starter, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I have heard rumors about him going to Buffalo, but then he turned down the deal when he was just about to sign. He got a better offer from Los Angeles, and then which leads to rumors and trades now. So the trade table or trade tracker, whatever you want to call it, has not been very active so far this summer. But so far, we only have one trade that took place, and that was on Saturday afternoon, around 3:30, 4 o'clock, was Anders Nilsson was traded to the Buffalo Sabres from the St. Louis Blues in exchange for a 5th-round draft pick in 2017. So, now that I think about the trade, the Sabres now have 2 tall Swedish goaltenders, because Robin Lehner is, I believe, 221 in terms of weight at 6'4", and then you have Anders Nilsson. Yeah, at 6'4", and then you have Anders Nilsson, who's a backup at 229 in terms of weight at 6'5". I mean, that's fucking huge. You have 2 legitimate goalies. You have Robin Lehner, and then you have Anders Nilsson as his backup. It's interesting. But here's a really interesting fact, and I bet you two didn't hear this in the chat. I don't know if you did, but when Anders Nilsson was with the Islanders in 2011, and I'm going to tell this to the public, by the way, is Anders Nilsson is a really good friend of mine, actually. I saw him play in Bridgeport when he was in the AHL. I saw him play for a little bit in the World Juniors for Team Sweden. Yeah, in Team Sweden, and he got a little bit of a shot with the Islanders, and he didn't really work out too well as a starter, but he was pretty legit for a little bit. But I keep telling my friends, if you put a defense around him, he can actually win you games in close proximity, and he can come up clutch. And you know what? Since then, he's been bouncing around. He went from the Islanders to Chicago, but then he got sent to Rockford. He was part of the Nick Leddy trade. Then he was sent to Edmonton, and then he went to the KHL, came back, went to the Edmonton Oilers again. They got traded to St. Louis, and then he went to Buffalo just recently, and he signed a 1-year deal for $1 million.
Wow. I mean, it just seems like he hasn't been at a stable team. He hasn't had, a constant team maybe. So hopefully this will work out for him.
And keep in mind, he's not the only Swedish goalie. Buffalo actually has 3 in their system. They have Robin Lehner as the starter. Anders Nilsson as the backup. Then Linus Olmark, who's in Rochester. He's also Swedish. I think he's 6'3", but I guess you could say Tim Murray really likes tall Swedish goalies.
Well, maybe he sees potential in them. Who knows?
Maybe, but out of all three of them, Robin Lehner has the most potential to be a starter.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Because there's no reason why they would not give up a first-round draft pick for him.
Mhm.
And he hasn't really got enough playtime yet, and because he's pretty often injury-prone, so I can't really say if that's the case for Lehner at this rate. So, there's been other rumors going around lately. You know, I've heard rumors about Nail Yakupov, and apparently there was a rumor this morning saying the Vancouver Canucks were interested in him. Yep.
Yeah.
In the Philadelphia, Montreal, the Islanders, Buffalo, and I think Boston was actually mentioned at one point. The Rangers too, but I think now we're coming down to the wire. Vancouver, Montreal, and Philadelphia are the front runners for Nail Yakupov. And if they get him, that's great stuff right there.
Oh yeah, for sure. But usually with rumors, you know, that they're exactly that. Who knows if the truth behind them or not.
Rumors,
all-
oh man. I got
I mean,
stories
we all
about
s-
that.
I mean, we all saw what happened with Stamkos, so now it's just a waiting game to see if they do come true or if they're just totally wrong.
Maybe, but here's a really interesting one, and I bet you two never heard this one before. And it actually came out yesterday. And supposedly the Boston Bruins are trying to trade Tuukka Rask out of Boston.
Yeah.
And apparently the Bruins are trying to trade him to the Dallas Stars. And apparently
I heard about this one.
Wait, what did you say?
I heard about this one.
Why don't you give us your impression?
I'm pretty sure it's like the Ben Bishop situation. Honestly, out of the quit giggling. It's not funny. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. God damn it, Shannon.
You were talking about Ben Bishop, and you were talking about Tuukka Rask.
Yeah, I remember. So if they're if they're Neil and the whole crew there, if they're going to pursue one of those goalies, I would probably go after Rask, because I think we would get away with not giving up as much. I mean, obviously we'd have to give him a goaltender, but instead of giving up, the rumored trade of 3 players and a draft pick, we can only maybe give up 2 players and not a first round draft pick, but a draft pick for next year.
Yeah, I heard something different. I heard that Boston wants Dallas's first round draft pick because even though the Dallas Stars are fully loaded with offensive weapons, but they believe that Tuukka Rask is more than what he's making. And I believe Tuukka Rask has a $9 million cap hit. So he's making approximately around the same money as PK Subban right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's up there, but the question is, with Dallas, yeah, but at this rate, Ben Bishop is good as gone because they bring in Andrei Vasilevsky for 3 more years. They bring in Christopher Gavlifkas as the backup, and then all of a sudden, Tampa Bay's fucked. Now they got to figure out what they're gonna do here. Are they gonna trade Ben Bishop? And the more it sounds towards the media and the rumor mill, it sounds very likely that Ben Bishop is good as gone. And it sounds like he was going to go out west because during the draft, if you remember, guys, he was actually rumored to go to Calgary. But Calgary was, asking for, like, Sean Monahan. Tampa Bay Lightning didn't want to give it up because they were uncertain at the time about Steven Stamkos. So they thought, okay, if we're going to try to resign Stamkos, we have to trade Ben Bishop. And so, of course, Dallas comes in, and they're like, we'll throw in Nichushkin, Nemeth, and Lettinen in our first. And the question is, would you take it?
Well, That's like a question for you to answer, sis, because I don't have anything to say.
Well, I can add more to this. I can also add more to this deal. And think about this too. Because of the signing of David Backus, David Krejci, I heard, is also mentioned in the same rumor mill.
I don't see Tampa Bay giving up David Krejci and both him and Bishop in the same deal. I see one going to one team and then the other, but not both.
Krejci is on Boston and Bishop is on Tampa.
She probably Cooch. Oh. Did you mean Cooch?
Yeah, I don't know who I was thinking. I'm sorry.
Long day, sis?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you mean Raskin Krejci.
Oh yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Shoot. Yep. But honestly, I think the Stars are giving up a little too much, but then again, I'm a little biased because my favorite player has been rumored to be in this deal. However, is it worth it? I don't know. Like, there's so much potential in Lehtinen, and if they keep Niemi, which if they do, you know, I know last season didn't end on the greatest note, okay? I'm not gonna stand up and defend, oh, they did fantastic. No, they sucked. Sorry, guys. But however, it can be worked out, you know? They both won 25 games last year. And if they can just find that consistency and be consistent, sure, you can have a few off nights, whatever, that's fine. But just being consistent. And those two are going to make an amazing combo. So is it worth it for Ben Bishop? No, I feel like the Stars are giving up too much, and Tampa Bay is not giving us enough. I know the type of player Bishop is. He's an amazing player. I'm not saying, oh yeah, he sucks. No, he's an amazing player. I'm just saying it feels like it's a one-way deal.
Yeah, what about if we were to trade with Boston?
Uh-huh.
Well, you said Ben Bishop.
Oh yeah. I was just talking about Bishop.
Yeah, but I'm asking you now, if you trade with Boston, I'm saying.
If we trade with Boston, well, I would want to see what we would offer them.
Well, I just said Tuukka Rask and David Krejci.
Oh, we would get them, with the same trade for Bishop?
Yes.
Yes, I'd be a little bit more comfortable, but however, I still think we're giving up a little too much. A pick and 3 players, it's quite a bit to get rid of. And granted we get 2 players in return, but we're still trying to fill in a player and yeah, exactly, yes. Thank you for agreeing with me for once, Cole.
Yep, and just to talk about the Ben Bishop Tampa Bay Lightning deal real quick. Okay, and keep in mind about this. I was just reading this on the reports. If the Dallas Stars trade for Ben Bishop with Tampa Bay, be prepared about this. And I don't think the Dallas Stars have enough salary cap for this. Unless they make this trade. I don't know a fucking deal about this. But just bear with me here. Ben Bishop, according to reports, wants 7 years, $49 million.
No.
Ooh.
Just, no. That's not going to happen.
That's a lot of money. Wow. Ooh.
I mean, he is an elite goalie, though.
I get
he
that.
He is an elite goalie, but
he got injured in the playoffs. So that could affect his value necessarily. I don't know by how much, but still. That sounds a little too much to me. A little bit too much.
Yeah, I honestly don't think the Stars can afford that cap hit, because if this pays off, say hypothetically, if they
if you do get Bishop and we win, 3 cups in 5 years, whatever, then I'm going to say, yeah, it was worth it. Right now, it's not looking like it.
So, would you do the trade and pay him that $49 million or no?
No.
No. And speaking of the Dallas Stars, I got an update about Chris Russell today, and apparently sources are saying that Chris Russell almost, keep in mind the keyword, almost, signed defenseman Chris Russell to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he declined a 4-year, $17 million deal.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, so he didn't take the offer, thank God. Because, I mean,
Smart man.
do I blame him? No. But however, the Boston Bruins are the front runners for Chris Russell.
Wow, that's
Well,
interesting. I'd like to see how they go after pursuing him.
Why would you pursue him if the Dallas Stars just got Dan Hamhuis?
No, I said them being the Bruins.
I mean, they bought out Dennis Seitenberg, so it does make sense for them to go out and get him. I mean, he's almost 30 years old, but this statistically, Chris Russell is considered the worst defenseman in the NHL.
Yeah.
So,
Not gonna lie.
so if the Boston Bruins go out and get him, congratulations, you just fucked up your team already. So that's just that. Is there anything else I should tackle? Let me take a look real quick. Oh, there is something I want to talk about. Patrick Laine signed his contract today. His 3-year entry level contract today for $950,000, and by his next deal, he could be close to $3 million after his first 3 years.
Well,
Great.
it's an entry-level contract or a developmental contract. I mean, outright, a little too much in my opinion, but who am I to argue? But wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention this on the when we were breaking down the list of free agents, but I forgot to mention it, but I'm going to mention it now. Is Roman Polak signed a 1-year deal for $1.5 million with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, well, it seems like with how the Maple Leafs are sounding, they're trying to rebuild their team. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yep. And the Florida Panthers re-signed Vincent Trocheck to a 6-year, $4.75 million deal, and they signed Riley Smith to a 5-year, $5 million contract. So that's 5 years worth about $25 million with the Florida Panthers.
Wow. Ooh.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and to correct the details about the Victor Hedman signing earlier, it was 8 years for close to $7.875 million with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yep, and let me see, what's going on here? Let me just double check on extra signings for any details in signings. That's about it about right now. Oh, San Jose, and this is a couple days out, by the way. Yeah, this is a couple days out, 4 days. San Jose Sharks re-signed Tomas Hertl for 2 years, $3 million.
I think that's a very smart move. Lock down one of their key players for the next 2 years. Hopefully they can do a little bit more than that. With him. But again, I don't know his age. So the good move that they locked him up for now.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yep. And the top free agents are, before we close up the show, if there's any recommendations on this list you guys want for your team, there is Jimmy Vesey, because he's right now, he's Buffalo's possession until then, and it's a guarantee at this point they're going to likely sign him. Jimmy Vesey, Chris Russell, he's still available, Yuri Hutler, Luke Shen, Justin Schultz, Raiden Verbata, Chris Versteeg, Sam Gagne, Brandon Peary, Matt Bartkowski, Jared Cohen, Jonas Enroth, Eric Greiva, Kyle Quincy, Nick Spaulding, Shane Doan, Dennis Seitenberg, and James Wisniewski. Those are all of the available top free agents as of right now. And the 2 names that I did not mention because they were signed were Jason Demers, P.A. Parenteau, and I think that was it. That's all I mentioned at this point. Yeah, Parenteau and Demers are signed. That's for the two names that are not mentioned on this list.
Yeah, that's none of those names really popped out to me as, ooh, really, we need this guy. I mean, the only guy that did was for C, but that's because of the hatred Nashville has for him. Not the team, but the fans.
For Jimmy Vesey.
Yes.
Yeah, if he starts putting up maybe 50, 60 points next year with Buffalo, you're going to regret it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to play with Eichel next year, so good for him on that part. Let's see if there's any last-minute rumors I want to talk about. Hopefully there's something we can talk about before we close up the show. Yes. Yeah, Lighty signed. Just double-checking. Sorry, guys. We got a transaction from Nashville, by the way, but this is a minor deal. Is Mike Liambas signed a 1-year, 2-way contract for $575,000 with the Nashville Predators.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Yep. So we don't really have much to say about that, but yeah, moving right along. Anaheim signed Nate Ginnon from Colorado to Anaheim. That deal is a 1-year, 2-way contract for $800,000. So that's not really particular. So Anaheim is technically the only team in the NHL that did not really do anything. So until then, I'm guessing, for my estimate, they're trying to trade with the New York Rangers to acquire Rick Nash. But at the same time, the Buffalo Sabres may have a proposal on the table with the New York Rangers. And apparently I'm hearing Evander Kane, Cody Franson, Zemgus Girgensons, and next year's second-round draft pick to the New York Rangers for Rick Nash.
That's a messy deal. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that is if Buffalo takes it. But then I also heard they're talking to Anaheim about Cam Fowler. I heard Evander Kane and next year's first-round draft pick for Cam Fowler.
Wow, that's wasn't expecting that for sure.
Yep. And then I also heard Ryan Nugent. I also heard Gabriel Landeskog's name was being mentioned around. I heard it was going to be to the Winnipeg Jets for Jacob Trouba, but that is if Trouba doesn't sign with Winnipeg, because the Jets are sort of having trouble re-signing him. But if they don't come to an agreement, they have no choice but to trade him. And I heard that Winnipeg has interest in Gabriel Landeskog.
That's
And he's going to jump. That's messy still, you know.
Still kind of sketchy a little. I don't see them getting rid of Landeskog.
Yeah, because he's one of the cornerstone players. And not only that, too, if the trade, hypothetically, the trade does happen, the Avs still have to sign Trouba. That's messy.
Mm-hmm. That's really shady.
I mean, it might be shady, but in the end of the day, Colorado will get a very good defenseman and play along with potentially Tyson Barrie. But that is if Tyson Barrie doesn't get traded to, Edmonton. Yeah, Tyson Barrie, I heard might get traded, but I don't know what that deal is all about. I heard that they're trying to trade him to to Edmonton for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. That's what I heard. But Nuge for Barrie, 1-for-1, is definitely not going to help. I mean, it's not the Weber-Subban trade, but yeah, it's definitely not.
I don't think anything will top that trade.
No, definitely not. But there has been really crappy trades in the past, and apparently the Taylor Hall one was a perfect example. It was a really crappy trade.
Well, bad trades happen sometimes, but what looks like a bad trade, maybe it could end up being a good trade. The question is, what will happen in this upcoming season? Right now, no one knows. I mean, what looks like a good trade could be a bad trade, or vice versa.
Yeah, and for your personal perspective, before we wrap up the show, let's do a really quick review. What do you think of the free agent class this summer so far? I know it's the 4th day of free agency so far. Actually, it's technically the 3rd day, but tomorrow's July 4th. We mentioned earlier on the show, but in terms of your thinking, you two, starting with Tina, because she didn't speak a lot about tonight, but
sorry, I'm like dying of the plague here, guys.
Yeah, hang in there. What do you think of the free agency class this year?
Okay, from a fan point of view, it's a good class. I'm not gonna lie. It's not, oh yeah, we have all these star players, but they can cause some havoc. Now, from a personal point of view, quit quit distracting me when I'm clearly distracted. It's just stop. Stop it. Do not sign. Do not sign for 3 hours because I am busy. Do not do anything. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just stop it. It's not funny. Not cool. You always do it when I'm busy. When I'm driving somewhere. And you're like, oh yeah, it starts at this. Oh, I can't post right now.
I can't help that. I don't have no I have no control of what they do.
I'm gonna start making sacrifices to hockey god. I don't know what, but I'm just like, stop it.
I
It's
mean,
not funny.
yeah, but how do you feel about the Dallas Stars in their free agency right now? Like, how do you think they did?
So far, so good. Can you sign back? Some players accept their qualifying offers? That would be lit.
Yeah, from A to F, what would you give them?
Ooh, I'm grading that. I'd probably give them a B.
A B.
Yep.
What could they do to improve?
Tina, one word or two words for you. Goaltending.
Yep. Exactly.
You're gonna need that unless they make the trade on Monday or Tuesday or whatever the fucking time frame is. There is no timetable for a trade in the off season. You know, it's only a matter of time before something happens.
So
Don't-
Shannon, what would you give the Predators? What would you? What's their grade?
It's tough. I'm dinging them a lot on the Weber trade. You know, not because of, Subban. Yes, I get he's a quality defender, but C minus.
Oh,
Because
wow.
they traded away a franchise player, and that's just dangerous.
But then again, you get a franchise defenseman back.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's shocking. I'm giving them maybe a solid C then, but it's tough because yes, they are deciding defensemen, not just Subban, through free agency and that. But the issue is, I haven't heard of any of them. So therefore, how are they helping the team if I really haven't heard of them per se? And let's see about the Preds, free agency, how they're doing.
Well, they have to think, they're not going to sign every big name free agent, but a lot of the players they bring in. I mean, think about it. When you bring in a free agent, most of them, if they get like 1 year, 2 year contracts, it's usually towards an AHL contract. They're not going to get the mega deals like, Steven Stamkos got or Andrew Ladd did. But just to give a prime example, if they're actually in, I mean, what about the Phil Forsberg signing?
That's messy situation. Wow. I mean, it's okay. The Forsberg signing maybe up to B then, maybe or C plus. Excuse me. But still, I usually forget what's going on with these signings because I'm busy with other stuff. So Predators, when I'm content, stay quiet. When I'm not busy, do whatever you want, please.
Yeah, so from the Forsberg signing to the Subban trade to add some depth in the AHL, what would you give the Predators?
C plus.
C plus?
That's my final rating.
And Tina said B for Dallas, correct?
Yep.
So you said B, you said C plus? Okay then.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, for Buffalo, I mean, they did get the big fish in free agency in Kyle Opozo. Props to them for that. They're still they're gonna sign Jimmy Vesey, but not at the temporary moment because he's just graduating from Harvard. Enjoy his summer, enjoy Independence Day and whatever. Enjoy all that. But between signing some depth players in the AHL, which is pretty legit, and then, like I said, mentioning signing Opozo and then re-signing Ristolainen coming up soon. We don't know how long his deal is going to be. Resigning McCabe and resigning Nelson. Those are positives. So I'm going to say for the Opozo signing perspective, I'm going to say an A minus. unless they sign. I mean, I'm gonna give them. I mean, I'm giving them an A minus, and then getting Anders Nilsson via trade. I mean, that works out perfectly. But until VZ signs, I'll give them an A plus. But for right now, it's an A minus. So that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying A minus because they got a Pozo. I'm saying A minus because Tim Murray actually wants to build a contender for years to come, and I don't blame him. You know, he wants to win a championship and bring a cup to Buffalo, and that's what we want. So we're hoping for that eventually. So I guess we're gonna wrap up the show tonight. You know, I know it's a little long, but you know what? It's that time of the year and free agency, and there's rapid signings, there's rapid things going on. So with that said, you know, I'm glad we talked about it. I really am. But you know what? By Thursday, we should have a little bit more news to talk about and kind of go from there. And there will be some trades. There will be some signings. There will be some team news, I'm sure. But we'll get right into that stuff going into the next podcast, which should be on Thursday night. And hopefully go from there. So this is your host, Boomstick, the head admin of the Buffalo Sabres, signing off. And tell us who you are one more time.
Which one?
One of you.
Alrighty, I'll go first. I am RinneSetGo, or Shannon. Thanks for having me. And one last thought about free agency. This is a quote from a show, and this is kind of how I feel. Time is dead, and meaning has no meaning. Existence is upside down, and free agency reigns supreme. Welcome, one and all, to Weird McGinnon, the NHL version. Maniacal laugh.
No.
Yep, gravity falls, Tina. I get it. Okay, now do yourself, Tina.
Okay. Well, I am #WouldYouLikeSomeSpez. Join us sometime tomorrow for our live broadcast. Just a little hello because it's Independence Day and we feel like it. And also, just remember this, guys. Reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Bye, gold. Bye.
And like I said, you know, have a wonderful 4th of July. You know, Happy 4th, America.
Happy Independence Day, everyone. Woo!
Happy 4th, and be safe, and don't get too drunk. Don't do anything stupid. Don't be Jason Pierre-Paul blowing up his fucking fingers.
Don't hold fireworks in your hand.
Exactly. So that's all we have for here tonight, and we will see you on Thursday, and happy Independence Day.